74 in one chunk. Barr kicks it off high and short. Alvin Garrett. Not much doing. Marcus Allen. 74-yard run for a touchdown, a new Super Bowl record.
You have to like that. He says, what's going on? And he gives a little wink. Watch the run again. He starts out here to the left. Now the strong safety, Ken Coffey, comes up. He sees him. Now watch right here, the burst that he makes right here. He just bursts right by those Redskins, and then it's all the way. You know, you talk about that burst, that explosion, that power. That's where he turned it on.
Redskins first down. This is Art Monk's first catch of the day. Van McElroy stopped him.
Lester Hayes is really upset. He wanted a shutout. He knew that. I think he may have slipped a little on that one. He looked like he went down because when Monk caught the ball, Lester Hayes was down in front of him. Let's watch it here. Here's Monk. He's going to come down towards us now. He'll run an inside pattern. Now watch as he makes a little move right there. See, Lester Hayes falls right there. Boom, the ball's there. And the safety, Van McElroy, gets over and makes the tackle.
First down, Redskins midfield. Theismann looks left and there's no one there. It was intended again for Monk. Haynes on the coverage.
Hey, Mike Haynes really has been a blanket over there on Charlie Brown or whoever they line up over there. You know, he almost didn't play football in the NFL this week, remember? I mean, this year. Remember, he was a holdout with the New England Patriots, and just the trading deadline, the Raiders made a trade with New England. He said, had that not happened, he said he probably would have gone to the USFL. And here he is in the Super Bowl.
He has Charlie Brown this time. Ronnie Warren, the tight end. That was Didier in motion. Theismann has to work. Scramble. He's down. Jeff Barnes came flying in. Theismann had no place to go.
That's right. Jeff Barnes gets credit for the sack, but here's where the real credit should go. Joe Theismann was looking to his left. He was trying to go to Charlie Brown. Watch Haynes. He's really frustrating those receivers. The receivers aren't even running patterns anymore. They're just running up the field and stopping.
The Washington bench very dejected at the moment, with good reason. 35-9, they trail. Theismann fires, and it's incomplete. Charlie Brown, the intended receiver. The Redskins really put a lick on Lyle Alzado as Theismann rolled out to his left, but they can't find anything.
Yeah, this defense has really done a job. Watch Howie Long here on Jeff Bostic. Howie Long is the best pass rusher of the Raiders. So they move him up and down the line on passing downs. They put him over the guy that they think he can beat. In this case, they put him over the center, Jeff Bostic.
So the Redskins will have to punt. Rick Pruitt will be back for the Raiders, standing at his own 20. Redskins have tied the record, Super Bowl record, for the most, the Raiders, I'm sorry, not the Redskins. Hayes kick off the side of his foot and out of bounds. What I was starting to say was 35 points is the most that ever been scored in the Super Bowl. 28-yard punt by Hayes. Marcus Allen over the left side again, stopped by Darrell Grant. Got a couple. Here is what mainly Marcus Allen is doing to the Washington defense. He has gotten more than any other team against the Redskin defense in the last 7 playoff games. He's also scored twice. Very famous number he wears. Here's Allen, straight ahead, outside the 35 to about the 38. Todd Liebenstein tripped him up. Marcus has been in 3 playoff games now this year. Against Pittsburgh, 121 yards. Against Seattle, 154. And in the Super Bowl game, 152. Really closing in on a record.
It's not a bad playoff deal, huh?
Not a bad deal at all.
I'll tell you, those 5 guys up in front, though, are doing a heck of a job on this Redskin defensive line.
They really are. This is Allen. This is Hawkins, sorry. Allen was the blocker in front of him. Marcus doesn't think they got the first down. Those 5 guys you're talking about would be Henry Lawrence, Mickey Marvin, Dave Dalby, Charlie Hanna, and Bruce Davis.
They were upset with me in the championship game, and here's the guy that was upset, Henry Lawrence, but somewhere I said Joe Jacoby's the best tackle in football. And the first thing they said when they got to town, I saw these guys, he said, who's the best tackle in football? I said, well, NFC. We'll see who's good.
They've got Darrell Green again back with Giaquinto. Ray Guy set the punt. Kicking away from Darrell Green, and the typical Ray Guy punt is Giaquinto signals for a fair catch and makes it at the 15. 10:55 left in the ball game, and time shutting down on the Redskins. 30 to begin the second half, but haven't been able to do anything since then. Joe Washington has replaced Riggin. Joe Theismann is going to have to put it up every down if he has time. Theismann has to run. Runs out of bounds. Is hit in the back. Jack Squirek chased him down from behind. Howie Long put the pressure on early.
I'll tell you, it's the same old thing. Theismann just can't find anyone open. There's no one open on that football field. That's what's happening to him. And as we said earlier, if the Redskins can't run, if they can't get in that rhythm, they really have some problems, and that's what's been happening. Let's watch this coverage out here. There's Mike Haynes, man-to-man on Charlie Brown. Look at him. He's just mirroring him everywhere he goes. Look, he's right there. Boom, boom, you go here. I'll tell you, that's something. That's tough on a quarterback.
Really? Lester Hayes was shaken up on the last play. Here's Joe Washington. He may or may not have gotten the first down. Jeff Barnes on the stop. That's the Washington offense in '83 in the regular season. They averaged 164. Today they've gotten 90. And that's one of the things that you said at the beginning of the show that the Redskins felt they had to do. That was to run the football.
I think the Raiders thought that same thing and said there's no way they're going to, because they've not only been on them on the run, but they've been on them anything they've tried today. This is a well-prepared Raider defense.
Theismann looking. Has Charlie Brown. Brown chased down by Van McElroy and Mike Haynes. 60 yards from Theismann to Brown.
Charlie got Mike Haynes on that one. Watch him here. He does a move right here. Gets the push. He's looking here. He gets a step on him. Haynes is looking back. Good throw by Theismann. Charlie Brown would have had a touchdown, except the weak safety, Van McElroy, gets over here to make the play right at the end. In fact, both of them did. And Charlie Brown staying in there, though. It's been a tough day for him, but he's hanging in there.
2 receptions for 83 yards. Redskin first down at the Raider 12. 9:26 left to play. They got to go to work in a hurry. Set Joe Washington up on the right side with no running backs.
Yellow 31! Yellow 31!
Theismann fires across the middle, incomplete. He had a man, Art Monk. Would have been only about a 4-yard gain. Van McElroy on the coverage. Theismann has had a frustrating day.
I think a lot of it starts again, without being able to run. Now, whether John Riggins, that cold that he had, that congestion, whether that bothered him or not, or whether it's just all this Raider defense, they just could never establish that run.
Lester Hayes has a cramp. We just saw him a minute ago trying to loosen it up.
Yellow 31! Yellow 31!
Mark May dropped off the line too quickly. Number 73.
False start, 73 offense.
It's been the kind of a day it is all day. 9:04 left to play. Mark May, one of the two big, huge guards, the Redskins. Probably we have, John, seen the last of John Riggins, and that's one of the things that the Raiders knew they had to do, was shut down Riggins. Not many people have been able to do it, but he's only had 64 yards and 26 carries today.
Yellow 31! Yellow 31!
Looking for Didier. Can't do it. McElroy was coming over to help out Mike Davis. You could see him moving in that direction before the ball was snapped. That'll make it 3rd down. Penalty against the Raiders.
That's an unnecessary roughness. Looks like the flag is in the Redskin backfield. I wonder if that was against the quarterback, roughing the quarterback.
Personal foul, 61 defense, a late hit on the quarterback. 1st down.
That would be Dave Stahl, number 61. It's 1st down, and that makes it 1st and goal from the 8. 9 minutes exactly left to play. Comes the blitz. There goes the ball. Raiders have it. Now they still scramble. 5 sacks. That was Mike Davis, who came from the outside. Rod Martin made the recovery.
I'll tell you, that's the element of surprise. Watch Mike Davis. He's right here. He's going to come. Theismann starts back. He doesn't even see him. Hits him from behind and knocks the ball out. Watch him. You see Davis back there? Look, he starts to sneak up, Boom, here he comes. They're blocking the inside. No one blocks Davis. Theismann doesn't see him, hear him, or feel him till it's too late and the ball's out of there.
And the Raiders recover and take over in good shape. And they've done them both. They've also sacked Theismann 5 times, and Plunkett gives to Kenny King over the left side. He got maybe 1 or 2, but nothing more. Dexter Manley led the defense.
Jim Plunkett is something, isn't he? He's a guy who's a leader, a quarterback, but he kind of takes a background all the time. He's had one of those careers that's been like a roller coaster. Heisman Trophy winner, New England, good and then down. Trade to the 49ers, waived by the 49ers, picked up by the Raiders as a free agent. Sat on the bench, started, bench, and throughout it all, the guy just keeps ending up on top.
He is back to throw now. Flags are down. Cliff Branch wide open. Mark Murphy, the defender. They're saying it's against the Raiders. Plunkett said that that period when the 49ers was the low point of his life. He thought about giving the game up at that point.
He also said that that was really the only time he ever lost his confidence. He said these other things, like this year he was benched. He said he still knew he was a great passer and a quarterback. He said he didn't lose confidence then, only one
Illegal
time.
motion, 46 offense.
That's exactly what he called himself, a great passer. And that is confidence.
No, and he is. I think you kind of picture Jim Plunkett sometimes as a Billy Kilmer, but he's really not that type of guy. I mean, you know, Kilmer could get the job done, whatever it took. Plunkett can too, but he could throw some bullets.
A little different motion, but he sure gets it there. Greg Pruitt has replaced Marcus Allen. That was Pruitt with the ball, stopped by Monty Coleman. I wonder if we've seen the last of Marcus Allen.
Well, I think two things. I think Coach Tom Flores, one, figures that Marcus Allen did a great day's work, and the other, he'd like to get Greg Pruitt in there. You know, he's coming to the end of his career, and it's his first Super Bowl, and you know, sometimes you wonder if you'll ever get in one of those. 11-year career, a great career, and he wants to get him and let him have this day too.
11 years is a long time for a running back. Riggins has been longer. The Redskins showing blitz, and here's Plunkett picking it up, trying to get it out to Branch, but it was deflected by Dexter Manley. And so Ray Guy comes on. There's Marcus Allen. He doesn't appear to be injured in any way.
And there's big Art Shell there next to him. You know, Willie Brown was elected to the Hall of Fame yesterday, and that guy right there is going to be one, because when you talk about tackles, you talk about pass protectors, you talk about guys doing what has to be done, that guy right there with that cap on is one of the best that ever played the game up there.
He is now one of the Raider assistant coaches, working sort of with individuals, with technique and things of that sort.
And I'll tell you another thing about him. Someday he's going to be a head coach in this league.
I hope so. A rocket by Ray Guy gets over the head of Giaquinto and gets out of bounds. Good kick by Guy. He thinks they're going to have a new ring. 53-yard punt by Guy, no return. 35-9, the Raiders lead. 7:14 left to play. Theismann goes to work. Charlie Brown in front of Lester Hayes this time.
See, 55, Matt Millen was over there talking to Charlie Brown. They say he was something. Rich Malott, linebacker of the Redskins, played in college with Matt Millen, and he was telling us that when he played, he wore one T-shirt all year, yellow. He said it kept getting yellower and yellower as the year went on.
It was not yellow when he first put it on.
It was the only shirt he wore. That's my kind of guy, huh? One shirt, that's all you need.
On first down, Theismann, chased by Howie Long. Gets it to Joe Washington this time, and Joe gets about 5. Greg Townsend came over to help out, along with Jack Squirick. Think about Jeff Barnes and Jack Squirick being backup linebackers. Raiders pretty deep in that spot. Tom Flores really is impressive with his demeanor. Very calm. The first quarterback the Raiders ever had, right?
Well, I'll tell you, he was a great quarterback, and he was a heck of an assistant because of that calmness, and those same traits make him one of the best coaches in the game today.
Picked off by Haynes, intended for Monk. Typical of the kind of game he's had and the frustration of Theismann. Second interception of the day. Jack Squirick really put a rush on Theismann.
I think, like you said, I think that did typify the whole day. Tight coverage, man-to-man coverage. Wherever he goes, I go. Watch, he comes off, he tries to make a move there. Doesn't do anything to Mike Haynes. He's right there, step for step. Look, step for step with him. Ball goes up, he goes up, gets the interception. I don't know that I've ever seen such coverage on wide receivers as we've seen today.
I would agree with you. There was some consideration early in his career of making Mike Haynes a wide receiver. It looks like it would have worked. Here's Marcus Allen. Allen cuts back again. Marcus Allen to the 30. Finally out of bounds at the 19-yard line by Anthony Washington. What a day he's had.
I'll tell you, I have never seen anyone run against the Redskins like this. It looks like now they're in a position that there's not a lot of people out there as anxious to tackle. But Marcus Allen, look at him. He jumps over a guy, misses a guy there, missed there. He has them all just flat-footed. He's just running by him and around him in every way you can. Cliff Branch, he's still going, trying to make a block out there.
This is a new Super Bowl record. 20 carries, 100 and... I don't believe that is quite correct. I think it's 191 yards. There it is, 191 yards rushing today. And Marcus Allen. Greg Pruitt fires straight ahead.
I'll tell you, one of the guys doing a good job in there in that Raider offense is the center, number 50, Dave Dalby. You know, in the history of the Raiders, they've only had 2 centers. One was Jim Otto, who's in the Hall of Fame, and the other is Dave Dalby. And he's really been doing a job in that middle there.
Barnwell comes out. Hasselbeck replaces him. Brady. Going to go with the 2 tight ends. Hasselbeck is always on the left. Christensen on the right. Hawkins down to about the 12. Maybe a yard or 2 shy of the first down. Mark Murphy came up to make the stop. The Raiders trying to put it in again. 5:18 left to play. This one will join some other trophies.
Watch the center, Dave Dalby. I was just talking about him. Watch how he fires out on Neil Okowitz. Watch it, boom. He just gets that head in there, just gets that movement back, and boom, in comes the back right in behind him. I'll tell you, he's had a heck of a year. That guy could be a hog, too. He would fit into this.
I would imagine. Here's Pruitt. Greg Pruitt to the corner, to the 1. Neil Okowitz finally stopped him.
You see the block by Frank Hawkins? Frank Hawkins was a fullback on that lead. I'll tell you, if you're a fullback and you're going to lead, you ought to lead the way Frank Hawkins did. Good block, Frank. Let's watch him. It's the I formation. Hawkins is the first back. Pruitt's in there behind him. Now watch Hawkins right here on Coffey. Watch him right there. Just drive him right there, right into the ground, and Pruitt was able to get down to the 1-yard line.
Did not leave his feet. Stayed with the contact. First and goal from the 1. Not in. It was Pruitt.
You know, talking about Frank Hawkins, he's the guy that is a Raiders short yardage specialist. I'm surprised he didn't get the ball, because usually in short yardage they give the ball to him.
Maybe they'd like to see Pruitt score. Talking about this being the first time to the Super Bowl for him. We'd like to have his name in that book. Lester Hayes. Those 2 guys that really had good days. Jensen was the man in motion. Neil Okowitz again stops Pruitt.
I think
Plunkett, he did. I'm sorry.
I think he missed the handoff on that one.
That has to be what happened.
Look at him. He's saying, hey, what happened? You went too wide on me. That'll happen sometimes. Those backs are watching the hole. Sometimes they'll get out there a little wide, and the quarterback can't reach them.
The other sideline, that pretty well tells you the story, what kind of day it's been for Joe Theismann. Pruitt is deep. Hawkins in front of him. It is Pruitt. And he is hit behind the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a 4th down situation, and Barr will come on. Neil Okowitz hit Pruitt and knocked him back. Well, out of 15, his career playoff record. This one will come from about 21 yards out. Howie Long. He's had a very busy day. This could be a new Super Bowl scoring record if Barr makes this. And he does from 21 yards out, and that makes it 38-9. Reason for jubilation. Green Bay scored 35 once, and Pittsburgh scored 35 once. 38-9. Jam Plunkett. So very happy.
And have his favorite food, and just to hopefully that I could say something that was soothing to him.
Well, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. I know you've been enjoying it. You're watching the Super Bowl live from Tampa Bay, 38-9 to the Raiders. Now let's join CBS.
Marcus Allen, what a day. He has broken John Riggins' Super Bowl rushing record, which was set last year. There's Theismann. There goes Theismann. Chased down by Greg Townsend. Sack number 6 against Theismann.
Tell you, Greg Townsend, a rookie, you know, he just comes in as a pass rusher. The one thing he has is great speed. Now watch him. He's not a physical guy. He doesn't try and go through. You see, he tries to go around. You see what he did to George Stark? Just boom, up the field, got that arm inside, right around Stark, and got Theismann. I'll tell you, they have 2 rookies on this team that have really helped this defense. It's that guy Townsend and the other guy, Bill Pickel.
A rookie from TCU, 38-9 at the 2-minute warning. Theismann trying to screen left. Got it out to Giaquinto, who has no place to go as Jack Squirick again makes the stop. Darrell Green, who had such a spectacular rookie year, is going back to Washington, he told us. Clean out his apartment and then go back to school, get his degree.
I'll tell you, he's had a great rookie year.
He
really has. In the playoffs, he was just all over the place. And, you know, the Redskins have had a great year.
They won more games than anybody else. That's Art Monk, who can't hang on. Back there with him, Kenny Hill. The Redskins are going to punt. How about a good year for Ted Hendricks as far as satisfaction is concerned, not with his own physical condition and certainly not being able to operate at 100%, but this has to be satisfying for him today.
I would think so. He's down there taking pictures. You see him, though, he points to Marcus Allen. He said, not me, it's him. It's him. He did it, I didn't. But Ted's been a part of it. He's been a part of this team for a long time, or professional football for a long time.
Just signaling number 1, and there can't be too much doubt about who is number 1. Hayes hands it high. Pruitt handles it. After signaling for the fair catch. 41-yard punt. Your most valuable player in Super Bowl 18, Marcus Allen. 20 carries, 191 yards. Set a new Super Bowl record. Couldn't really vote for anybody else unless you could vote for the whole Raider defense. There's John Riggins.
Tell you, there's a man. Tell you, he plays it the tough way. He was telling us an interesting thing the other night. He said, you know, if we win, he said, I'm going to get out of that locker room. He said, there's no need for me to talk. But he said, if we lose, I'll stay there and talk.
Mark Wilson is the quarterback. Gives off to Chester Willis behind the Hawkins blocking. On the other side of the field, dejection. That's Joe Jacoby going to the Pro Bowl, but can't be a very happy Pro Bowl. You're right. They did have a great year, the Redskins.
Well, you know, they did. And the thing that's unfair about it is, you know, the Super Bowl, 3 hours ago, there's 2 teams in it. And they're, you know, the 2 top teams in football. One wins, and, you know, and they're the champions. And that's great. But sometimes they take it out a little too tough on the team that loses because still they're the second best.
I remember Bill Walsh saying that to us a couple of years ago, the 49er coach. Wilson gives to Hawkins. Hawkins just happy to hang on. Curtis Jordan made the stop. Number 18's about to be history. And the Lombardi Trophy will go to the Los Angeles Raiders. A very young team, but a super team. Flores on the shoulder. Largest margin of victory in a Super Bowl by 29 points, 38-9. The Raiders dominate the Redskins. I honestly thought the Raiders would win, but I didn't think they'd win that way.
Well, they came out and they had a complete football game. You know, they ran the ball, they passed it, they stopped the run, they stopped the pass. They did everything a total football team has to do to win a big game.
Coming up next, we'll be visiting the locker rooms and see what the players think. I know what they think in there.
I'll tell you, that is one of the great feelings in the world, because that's the first chance we've done it, the game's over, now we can celebrate.
Executive producer of Super Bowl XVIII and the NFL on CBS is Terry O'Neill. What a whale of a job he did. Senior producer, Charles Milton III. He sure makes things easy, doesn't he? Directed by Sandy Grossman.
Let the players
Associate producer is Joan Vetrano.
So, Coach, the largest winning margin of a Super Bowl, 38-9. You and Miles were right, along with a lot of other commentators. I was wrong. Would you like to talk about the Raiders' performance? Because it seemed near perfect. I mean, to annihilate the Redskins that way.
Well, the thing that didn't figure in my mind was the ability of the Raiders to run so effectively against the Washington defense. Nobody really does a good job of running against the Redskin defense. And that's what makes Marcus Allen's performance all the more remarkable. 192 yards, the MVP in the game. Of course, the big run was a big chunk of that yardage, but nevertheless, it all counts.
Could we explain to the uninitiated what MVP is?
It's the most valuable player. At the end of the game, all the sports writers up here in the press box have a ballot of the most valuable player in the game, and Marcus Allen was awarded that right in the last 2 minutes of the ball game.
Now, what about the Redskins? I mean, what went wrong for them? Because there were a lot of errors.
Well, nothing worked for the Redskins. And, of course, Riggins was not able to get untracked. And he's a force on that football team. In the games that they win, he usually gains over 100 yards, and they control the ball. In today's game, the run was not working. He had 64 yards and 26 carries. Theismann had to resort to the pass. The Raiders' pass defense is excellent. And they did a good job of covering, plus their pass rush. I think 6 quarterback sacks they ended up with.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, a lot of commentators said it would be close. A lot of commentators said it would be physical. It really wasn't that physical, and it certainly wasn't that close.
Well, you're right in summing it up. It was total domination on the part of the Raiders, but they're capable of doing that to you. We've had a tough time. The football teams that I've coached through the years have had a tough time against the Raiders. And they're playing probably better now than they've ever played. So they deserve to be recognized as the best with the performance that they had against the Washington Redskins today.
Well, I know very soon we're going to be going down to the locker room to see what's happening there. You've been in the winning locker room in a Super Bowl. You have the rings. What is now going through the minds of Flores and his teammates? How is Flores thinking?
Just total jubilation, because they've worked so hard for this, and this is really the ultimate. When you're the winner of the Super Bowl and you're a football coach or you're a football player, that's it. And next year they're going to have to tee it up again, but I guarantee you they're going to relax and enjoy themselves right tonight and the rest of this year.
Because, of course, there was a lot of talk about intimidation, the Raiders being an intimidating football team, and Flores was saying, no, we're not really an intimidating football team, we just play hard. Do you think that we're going to see a difference in their strategy next season?
I think that the Raiders will continue to be that way. That's their personality. It comes from the top, from Al Davis and Flores, and it's part of their makeup. So they're going to continue what's been successful for them.
Right. Well, Coach, thank you very much indeed. We're now We are now going to go down to Miles before we go to the locker room. Miles?